Hello all and welcome to session 2 for Business Intelligence. If you missed our first session, Your Business Intelligence Library, you'll be able to check it out on our website later. My name is Trent Highland and I'm a member of the product management team here at MicroStrategy. And today I'll talk to you about how you can create stunning infographic style dossiers in MicroStrategy 2021. For those of you that are new to Dossier is MicroStrategy's modern dashboarding tool. And with Dossier, your data is dynamic, interactive, and all in a single location. In 2021, we've built on the transformational improvements we've made to Dossier over the last 3 years to make it easier than ever to create visually compelling stories using your data. With the new capabilities we've introduced, it's simple to create stunning infographic style dossiers that seamlessly convey your information. Of course, talk is cheap, so before I show you how to create these dossiers, let me highlight a few examples of the types of dossiers you'll be able to create in 2021. Let's take a second to examine this dossier. As you can see, it's really clean and crisp. The dossier uses our new out-of-the-box shape objects, which you can see here as rectangles and circles, to visually break up the dossier into sections and add some visual appeal. I'll go into more detail on shapes later in this presentation. On the left is our new border map style, which shows only a location's geographic borders based on your zoom level. There's an in-canvas selector layered on top of this map object, and it targets all the visualizations on the page. The user can quickly move between countries, grounding themselves with the physical location and quickly absorbing the more detailed information to the right. Let's see what happens now when the author selects to change a country. If the author is interested in viewing several different metrics in the same view rapidly, they can take advantage of the attribute and metric selectors. In this example, the user can use the selector to rotate through different metrics, allowing them to uncover what factors are contributing to happiness rating for this country across a standard visual framework, making it easy for them to uncover deep insights. This next dossier shows information on the NFL. What we have here is a grid using thresholds that is combined with some out-of-the-box rectangle shapes. What this shows is data on all the scores of every NFL game, with the winner score on the x-axis, the loser score on the y-axis, and the sum of games with that outcome represented in the cell. The author has used rectangles to create informative lines to text, giving users context about what they're seeing. This line here points to the most common score outcome. And as we select the cell it's referencing, it filters a visualization on the top right, showing us who the most recent team was that achieved that score. You'll notice by now that there's a scroll bar on the right. This scrollable canvas is a new addition this year, and I'll go into more detail as to just how powerful this functionality is later in this presentation. For now, you can see how it's utilized to create scrollable infographics. And as we scroll down, we can use an in-canvas filter to filter these visualizations on the bottom. As you can see, this is an easy and arguably fun way to rapidly move through data of interest and uncover some insights hidden inside larger trends. The final dossier I want to highlight before we move on to our business use case dossier truly demonstrates the stunning styles of dossiers that you can create in MicroStrategy 2021. The prominent circular bar plot visualization is an easily added custom visualization, but everything else in this dossier is completely out of the box. This dossier makes incredible use of shapes, images, layering, and opacity settings that all come together to create a beautiful infographic. You know the best part about this dossier? This dossier is entirely interactive. For example, as I hover over the information in this visualization on the bottom, I can see a tooltip with the information about the data behind it. And if this data were to change, these numbers and visualizations would update as well. Now that we've taken a look at a few example infographics, let's take a look at this dossier and see how you can recreate it in the authoring interface. First, I want to touch on pages. There are several pages in this dossier, and pages are different canvases where you can create new infographic dashboards within the same dossier. In Library, you can navigate using the table of contents, which I'll highlight here. But in this dossier, we've actually used a series of link-enabled text boxes, images, and shapes to create a navigation bar on the right. We'll investigate this first page, which is where we'll rebuild the top product categories visualization in authoring. Here, the author includes revenue and sales information to quickly give the user a high-level insight into critical areas of the business. They use shapes to make these visualizations easy to digest by visually grouping them with the text that is used to give them context. And like some of the others we have seen, this dossier is also scrollable. Now, I'll pull back the curtain and show you how to design this in the authoring interface. We're going to add the top product categories visualization on this page and demonstrate how several new authoring additions work together to unlock a world of possibility in Dossier. We're authoring this using Workstation, which is MicroStrategy's modern one-stop shop for analysts and architects alike. For more information on Workstation, please check out some of the great Workstation sessions we have both today and tomorrow. First, let's add our rectangle to the canvas through the new intuitive entry point that we've added to the canvas toolbar. As we open the dropdown, let's select Rectangle from the menu. We add it with a single click on the rectangle and quickly format it and size the rectangle so that it looks the same as its companions to the right. If I were to use the cursor to position and size this object, I could take advantage of the red snapping lines seen here. However, since I already know the exact size and position I want this to take, I'm just going to input that information into the format panel along with the desired color. Now that we've added our rectangle, the next step is to add our visualization of choice. Here, we want to include a pie chart. To insert a new visualization, let's navigate to the visualization gallery, which we've included as a part of MicroStrategy 2021. This gallery is an intuitive entry point for adding all visualizations, which we've grouped into meaningful folders that make it easy to find your visualization of interest. We've also added many new visualizations out of the box. Stay tuned for the session following mine to get more details. As you can see, you add the visualization to the canvas with a single click. With the visualization added, we'll make some quick formatting changes so that it appears correctly. With the formatting set, let's add our data to the visualization, and we can find the data by searching for it in the Dataset panel. Once we find our data in the Dataset panel, all we have to do is double-click on the item and it will be added to the visualization. With our data added, we'll quickly change some qualifications in the view filter so that only a subset of data appears in the visualization. And we'll quickly change some of the formatting so that our labels are of the desired color. Now, let's add in the text boxes to give end users context for the data that they're seeing. Like other objects, text boxes are inserted from the toolbar atop the canvas. And as I add the text box, notice the new auto size text box checkbox that is available. For this first text box, I'll select to auto size. For the second though, I won't, and later we'll see what effects that has on our dossier as well as the text box. And just like that, we've recreated the top categories visualization used in this dossier. But we're not done yet. There's a few things we need to do first to make sure that this dossier is ready to be viewed on any screen. First, let's go to the Layers panel. Did you notice that by adding objects to the canvas, they appeared in the Layers panel? The Layers panel shows all objects on the canvas and allows you to easily access an object by clicking on it in the panel. This is particularly useful in highly layered dossiers, such as the one that we're designing. The currently highlighted objects in the Layers panel are the ones that we've selected on the canvas. Also notice here that almost all the objects are in groups. Grouping objects works similar to other applications that you might be familiar with. It allows you to move all the objects as one, if you so choose. It also ensures that if the canvas is resized, for example, if someone opens this dossier on a smaller laptop or a browser window, that the objects will maintain their proportional position to one another. Let's go ahead and group these objects together now, and then name the group so that we can easily tell what objects the group contains. As we're looking at the Layers panel, you might notice something else. A few of the groups have icons next to them. These icons indicate that these objects are being hidden on the canvas or hidden on mobile. Let me explain, starting with Hide on Mobile. By selecting an object to be hidden on mobile, it will not appear when being viewed on a mobile device. This can be used for many use cases. For example, if there's a details grid that isn't required for mobile use cases of your dossier, you can select to hide it on mobile to reduce clutter and distraction for the mobile user. Perhaps there's an image or a text box that looks great on a desktop but doesn't make sense on a mobile device. You could select to hide that too. Hide on Canvas is the inverse functionality. It allows certain objects to appear on mobile and not on a desktop device. In this dossier, we use this functionality to create device-specific layouts. Notice that the navigation bar is selected to be hidden on mobile, and there's another object that we can't see that's selected to hide on canvas. When we remove that setting from the object, you can see it's just a smaller version of the navigation bar we have on the right. So why do this and how does it work? Let's enable the responsive preview, which allows me to see what my dossier will look like on a mobile device. As you can see, the navigation bar has moved to the top of the screen, giving us a clean and curated mobile look and allowing you to maintain mobile and desktop specific versions of your dossier. Since this is based on a responsive breakpoint, this change would also occur if the user resized their browser to a very small size. Now, this dossier is nearly ready for our end users, but there's one last piece of crucial functionality we need to enable: vertical scrolling. Vertical scrolling serves several purposes and is a really powerful piece of functionality. First, as we saw earlier with the demonstrations of several infographic style dossiers, including this one, vertical scrolling allows you to create scrollable infographics that can really enhance dossier presentation. But even more powerfully and less obviously, vertical scrolling can help ensure that your dossier looks great, no matter what screen it's being viewed on. Let me demonstrate. To enable vertical scrolling, click on the page of interest to access the new page level settings page. Here, you can see the option to set a certain number of pixels that the dossier height will shrink to, after which a scroll bar is introduced. Let's uncheck the settings and see what happens to our dossier. So already we can see that there's a slight difference in this visualization. There's a bit of overlap in this visualization with its labels, but as we close down this window and resize the screen, you can see that many on the items on the canvas will become truncated as they try to fit into a smaller and smaller dossier size. And this is a real problem for dossiers that are designed on a large screen like a monitor, but then viewed on a smaller one like a laptop or a windowed web device. So as you can see here, many scroll bars have been introduced and almost every single item on this canvas is truncated, rendering this dossier largely unusable. With vertical scrolling, instead of shrinking to fit the smaller and smaller screen size, the canvas actually grows in length and a scroll bar is introduced, which prevents the truncation of these containers. Let's demonstrate how that works. First, as you can see here, the default pixel size is set to the size of the screen that you're designing a dossier with, which, as an author, makes it a simple click of the checkbox to ensure that all your users will be able to see all the visualizations on your dossier without truncation occurring. I happen to know that this dossier was actually designed on a monitor of height 1424 pixels, so I'll enter that here and set the vertical scroll. Now, when I resize the dossier, everything looks perfectly in place. Well, everything except for one thing. Do you remember that text box that we didn't select to auto size? Text boxes are especially prone to truncation due to their fixed font size and the responsiveness of their containers. By selecting auto size on this text box, we ensure that text boxes look great and are always visible. And as we add auto sizing to the text box and re-window it, you'll see that that is indeed the case. It really is that easy. With Dossier in 2021, you can create beautiful, powerful, and responsive infographics that put deep insights at the fingertips of your organization. For more inspiration on how to create your perfect dossier, check out and participate in the DOS Challenge. On this page, which you can find on our website, you can find more information about the challenge, tips and tricks, and winners of competitions past. Take advantage of the gallery to see all the things that Dossier is capable of. Who knows? Maybe you'll find one that is inspiring or applicable for a use case in your organization. Thanks so much for watching.